Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, to take a look at your weekend and for next week. Overall, here in the Midwest, it's going to be, I think, relatively uneventful. The Southeast, that's another story, as also the Atlantic seaboard. Not necessarily next week, but I think the following week does definitely look interesting at this point. Here we go on our Saturday. We're going to see from fairly hot weather or very warm weather across most of the Midwest and down towards Texas. We do see some cooler air up into the northern plains, up in the Great Lakes area, and also here in the spine of Appalachians and down in the southeast. You see a little bit of yellow down there. This is reflecting more of cloud cover and rain, and I'll show you that here in a second. By Sunday, again, you see yellow down towards the southeast, still very hot and humid across most of the Midwest. A little bit of cooler up towards the north. There's a frontal system up there and some showers, but it's going to have a hard time, I think, moving towards the south. Here on Wednesday of next week now, you can still see it's pretty warm across most of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley. A little bit of a pocket of some rain and some clouds there. But the southeast, though, you see a low off the coast. That's really going to be kind of interesting as we work our way on into next week and then the following week. And then by next Saturday, still very hot and humid. So the takeaway here as far as temperatures are concerned, the nice weather we had a couple weeks ago, well, that's pretty much gone, and we're just going to be in the dog days of August. Precipitation. All right, here we go on Saturday. Pretty dry across most of the Midwest. It looks like a little bit of activity up in the Great Lakes in the upper Midwest and the Plain States. And again, that reflected the cooler colors, the yellows that we saw up there. But take a look at the southeast, how wet it is going to be there on your Saturday. Sunday doesn't change a whole heck of a lot across the southeast. Still, it's going to be a very hot, very summerish type weekend right here in the Midwest, especially the Ohio Valley. We do have some showers and thunderstorms across Wisconsin, Iowa, stretching back towards Oklahoma, but they're going to be spotty pretty much at best. By next Wednesday, here's that clump of precipitation. Remember, we saw the kind of yellow in this area. That's the next bit of energy moving on in. And the southeast dries out a little bit, but that I think is going to change as we head on into the following week. You have to keep an eye on that. By next Saturday, we do have some showers coming in. That's going to bring in some cooler weather. And by that time, we're going to need some rain because it's going to be drying out considerably here in the Midwest, especially the Ohio Valley. So this is next Saturday. This looks dry for the most part, but the models are indicating that there's something going to be developing, looks like down here in the Atlantic, and then swing its way up towards the Atlantic seaboard, possibly even up towards New England. Something we have to keep an eye on. The Gulf right now looks quiet, but as we look into the models, and especially this time of year for the hurricane season, for those of you down the southeast and the Gulf Coast, things could flare up really quick. So we have to keep an eye on that at that point in time. But basically, though, right here in the Midwest, pretty much just hot and mainly dry. I'm George, the Weather Dad.